nothing has changed. Nothing's changed whatsoever. In regards to Lopetegui and West Ham, not my current situation, although there's no change there yet. But I'm still hoping for change on both counts. Well, that's wrong. I think there has been some change. I think Lopetegui's got himself another couple of games. He's won his cup final, and I don't think Bournemouth is a cup final. If he loses that one, I think he'll get the Brighton game. So he's purchased time with that win last night. And I think David Sullivan will be feeling justified for keeping Lopetegui on because we picked up the 3 points. But I don't think he should be. Yes, we won the game, but it was far, far from convincing. If anything, weirdly, I think Sullivan might think, yeah, hey, I'm justified, we won. It's very rare we win a game, in my opinion, of the manager either remains the same or gets worse. And I think that's the case last night, actually. We got the win. And it was a victory for Lopetegui in terms of keeping his job. But I don't think it was a victory for Lopetegui in terms of convincing the West Ham fans he's the right man to be the head coach of West Ham United. Because I'm missing something today, that winning feeling. If we go back a couple of weeks ago, we'd just beaten Newcastle United. I woke up Tuesday morning, I was still buzzing. We played fantastically well in the second half at St James's Park. Big win. I felt really good on Tuesday. I've woke up this morning and I just don't have that feeling. And I don't think it's because I had half asleep on an uncomfortable chair. I don't think that's the reason for that lack of vibe. It's the performance last night. It was two poor teams. In the preview, I said to Gonzo, it felt a bit like when I first moved down, that when I went up to the town centre on a Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. and I saw two junkies trying to scrap each other outside Wetherspoon. That game had that sort of vibe to it for me pre-match. I think I've just witnessed it. I think I've just seen two junkies having a fight at the London Stadium for 90 minutes. I'm not referring to Lopetegui and Gary O'Neill. Just the nature of the game is two poor teams, and we were just slightly less poor than what Wolves were. A victory over Wolves this season isn't really anything to write home about. You just have to look at their last game before the West Ham one. But also the nature of this game, we got lucky. It shouldn't have been a corner for our first goal. Wolves should have had at least one penalty. I've seen some people think it should have been the first penalty, some say it should have been the second, some say it should have been both. But I think most people will put their hands up and say they should have had at least one in that regard, and it wasn't a corner. I don't know what Gary O'Neill has done to the PGMOL, but he's done something wrong anyway. I think maybe David Could snuck into the VAR room at Stockley Park. Maybe he was on the old Colombian marching powder while he was taking a look at the VAR stuff or something. Maybe he knows the people outside Wetherspoons when I first moved down. Actually, maybe they're mates. Not sure. Not that I'm going to investigate it. Anyway, in regards to David Sullivan, relieved man. I always thought in the last few days, there was two reasons that David Sullivan was continuing to keep Lopetegui on, and I had a little bit of a phrase that I was quite pleased I came up with because I thought it sounded quite good and made me sound smarter than I am, and that was that Lopetegui is no longer the head coach at West Ham because of his ability or the board's confidence in his ability that he's the right man for the job. Lopetegui is now head coach at West Ham United because of the board's inability to get a replacement for Lopetegui. And I still think that's true. So that's reason number one that I feel Lopetegui was kept in charge of West Ham, because they just couldn't get anybody else in between the Leicester game and the Wolves game that they all agreed on. That's always going to be difficult. Them all agreeing on the same. They couldn't do it in the summer. They couldn't do it when David Moyes left and they had at least a month's notice of David Moyes leaving, and they had all summer to recruit someone. They still couldn't agree who to go get. So there ain't a hope in hell they're doing it with a handful of days, right? There's no chance. So I felt that's why Lopetegui got this game. It wasn't Lopetegui or Graham Potter or anyone like that. It was Lopetegui or Kevin Keane. Well, we'll just stick with Lopetegui then and see if he can do something. The other reason I felt that Sullivan perhaps might have decided to go with Lopetegui is because of Everton smash Wolves. I don't know this. This is just my opinion, right? I'm probably a million miles away off the mark here. But when I watched Everton smashed Wolves at Goodison Park. I thought Sullivan ain't sacking Lopetegui because he'll be watching this thinking, surely even we can beat this lot. Surely even Lopetegui can get a win against this team. And he was right. And I would argue he was right for the right reason as well, because Wolves were poor. He would have watched that game thinking, surely Lopetegui is good enough to beat that Wolves team. Correct, he was, because Wolves were that bad. But I think there's maybe a third reason. However, I don't think that reason is applicable until today because of the weekend's results and our result. Maybe it was part of his thinking last week, and that is the league table. Because like I said last night in the review, this bit don't sound too bad. Because after we won, we are now 1 point behind Man United, 2 points behind Newcastle, and 2 points behind Spurs. That doesn't sound bad. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sullivan's looking at the league table going, that's not bad, we're all right here. But that's missing context. Man United sacked their manager. Now, Amarim's not done much better in terms of results, but you can see what he's trying to do, and I think he will come good. But because of where Man U were, they pulled the trigger. Funny enough, the last El Sacchio worked out. Lopetegui won it, Ten Hag got the boot. Lopetegui's won El Sacchio again. 2 El Sacchio victories for Lopetegui. So Man U aren't great. Spurs fans are strongly debating whether Postecoglou should be the manager. So much so that after the Bournemouth game, Postecoglou walked over to the away fans and got told to F off. And Newcastle fans, that debate's back on the horizon regarding Eddie Howe. So the league table looks all right in terms of where we are. But what it doesn't do is tell the truth. It doesn't tell the context. Anyway, more on Lopetegui. Before we do, this video is sponsored by Surfshark. Now, as you may be aware, I am currently in the maternity ward, pushing my luck, recording videos, and whilst we wait for baby Gio to be born. Because of Surfshark, I have a VPN on my phone. It gives me an extra layer of security, but it's still working right now. Even though I'm connected to the hospital Wi-Fi, the NHS free Wi-Fi, open network, loads of people on it at the same time. Surfshark VPN is just helping me keep that extra little level of security to protect my phone at all costs, because I've got a lot of personal data on there. I don't want people knowing it. Would I print it off and stick it up on the notice board in the hospital? No, I wouldn't. I don't want people to see it. Surfshark VPN just helps me keep that a little bit. And also, one of my favourite features regarding the VPN is that you can change your geolocation. So let's say I was currently in a Spanish hospital. Don't know why I'd be there. Maybe we've gone to Spain and baby's coming early. We're now in Spanish hospital. I've had a bit of paella for lunch. I go on my VPN, I can change my location. I can say, UK please. Then I can access the Sky Sports YouTube page immediately after the game, watch all the highlights if I want to, because my phone thinks I'm back in the UK. It's a good one. Anyway, I've got an offer for you here on Hammers Chat. They've still got their Black Friday on up until very early January. So basically December and a couple of days into January. So you want to get it now if you want to get it. You still get your 4 months free. It's just cheaper. From £1.49 per month. From £1.49 per month. And not only do I get it on my phone, I've got it on my computer. So you sign up on your phone, go home, log into Surfshark on your computer. You have that protection on there as well. Now to get this offer, go to surfshark.com/hammerschat from £1.49 per month plus 4 months free, and you get a 30-day money back guarantee. So if come the 7th of January, I don't know what the date is anymore, I've lost it. When you're in here, it's like a time capsule, vacuum, it's gone. It could be the 9th, could be the 10th, could be the 11th, I'm not sure. But definitely by the 7th of January, if you change your mind, you get your money back, no questions asked. It's really simple to get it back. I've tested it. Anyway, links in the description below, surfshark.com/hammerschat. In regards to Lopetegui, listen, he was never going to change my mind last night, right? We could have played like prime Barcelona, won 4-0, and I'd say, well done, fantastic, more of that, please. But I wouldn't go to Lopetegui in, this guy's the guy for the job. I need to see good performances, good results, consistency. I didn't need that to start the season because, let's just say he was on a neutral level. That's a lie. He was probably on -1 geo points because I didn't want him. I tried to get up to neutral. I did my best. He was on like -10 geo points when we hired him. So then I just got over it and got him to neutral as much as I could. But to go from there to there, it's a bit easier. But at the minute, he's back to minus 10 geo points. So even if he does really well over the next few weeks, he's still going to go up a little bit. And he's got a lot more to go to convince me. I'm willing to change my mind. I'm always willing to change my mind. I think it's a very important characteristic. I think it's a very powerful characteristic for a human being to have the ability to change your mind. I think it's wonderful. I think sometimes we get so consumed that this is my opinion, I shall not change it because I must be proven correct. I think to be proven incorrect when you have a negative opinion and you get proven incorrect because the outcome's positive, I think that's a wonderful thing. So I want him to change my mind. I've just got no confidence he will, none whatsoever. In the game last night, we won. And that should make me think, ooh, maybe. But it hasn't. If Fenton's done the opposite, it's made me think, no, this guy definitely is not the right guy for West Ham. Because we didn't play well. There was nothing he did that made us look fantastic. We didn't win last night because of Lopetegui. A week ago, David Sullivan had a decision to make, and he could have maybe put Kevin Keane in charge last night. I think we still win. I think we still win last night with Kevin Keane in charge. Or you at home in charge. Your team talk was done for you because of what happened on Saturday with Michail Antonio. The players, I feel, was massively motivated by that. And I think it's been proven with Souček's celebration, with Jared Bowen's celebration. After the game, Thomas Souček spoken about Michail Antonio, about how they video called him before the match and stuff. So they had this one-off motivation for the game. Now, I'm not saying we won because of that, but I think it certainly helped. I think it influenced the team last night in a positive manner. Arguably more than what Lopetegui did. Now, to prove that I think his tactics weren't great last night or he did not do anything last night. If you look at I've just been having a look at the Wyscout report last night, just briefly, because I was sending Gonzo my player ratings because I can't be on the video. And our defensive line's really high, so we're up the pitch, but our pressing intensity is really low. So we're moving up the pitch and then doing nothing. So we're up the pitch and standing still, creating those spaces that Wolves want to play into. The wagon wheel, as they call it on Sky Sports Monday Night Football, brought it up. I can't remember exactly where we were in the table. I think we're 16. In terms of goals conceded via fast breaks by the opposition, we're 16th. It's no surprise. That's a tactical issue. But my proof, and I moaned about it last night, and one person agreed with me in the comments. Joe Harvey, thank you. I was reading him at 4 a.m. this morning, replying to him at 4 a.m. this morning, and Team Gio was a hatred of short corners. And it's not that I hate short corner. I hate a short corner without a plan. That's what I hate. Wolves, the worst team in the league for set pieces. We scored on our 10th corner, but the ones before that, there was nothing. There was no, and I don't even think that was a plan, by the way. Like I said, I'm not having it. If someone said, oh, that was a plan, that was a corner kick, you don't wait till the 10th corner to do that. You do it on the first one. And also, to prove that also wrong, in the first half, Emerson was taking the corners on the right-hand side. Jared Bowen took that corner on the right-hand side. So we switched corner kick taker for the second half. The biggest defence would be, well, maybe it was a corner kick routine. I think you're really scraping battle here. Arguing myself, I appreciate that. Maybe it's a corner kick routine which we do in the second half. Well, that's bold to assume you're going to get a corner in the second half. Can you imagine you got 8 in the first half and we didn't get loads in the second half. Most of them were in the first half. So we came up against the worst team in the league for set pieces and we didn't have a plan. We didn't have something to try and capitalise on that. It was down to just the aerial ability of Thomas Souček. Because that is, by the way, that is not an easy chance. It's not like it's come in and Souček just had to glance it in. That is an incredible header by what Souček did. The worst team at set pieces, and we had no plan for set pieces. We're over 10 corners. I assume we got another one after Souček scored. You don't get that. You don't get 12 corners against a team bad at set pieces in the league very often. But we did, and we scored from one of them, but it was more player individual brilliance rather than anything else. So we won. I'm not overly looking forward to the Bournemouth game more. I don't think we're going to beat Bournemouth. I didn't think we were going to beat Bournemouth before last night. My confidence in that game, if anything, has decreased, especially since realising Bournemouth actually won on Sunday. I thought they drew. So yesterday I'm sat here, blah, 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 blah. Ipswich got a draw against Bournemouth, blah, blah, blah. And a couple of people text me and a couple of people in the comments said, I think you're missing a goal here. Didn't realise Bournemouth scored in the 96th minute or something like that. Anyway, they'll be on a high after their last minute winner against Ipswich Town, won't they? But they could have got beaten by Ipswich. I still think Bournemouth beat us because they've got a better manager. Squads are compatible somehow. We've been in the Premier League longer, much more money, and I don't think the squads are too much different in terms of ability. If you were to do a combined 11, I think it would be 6-5 one way, 7-4 at best. It's quite an even one. Listen, there were some positives last night. I thought Jared Bowen was excellent. I think that's the first time I've really enjoyed him as striker. But I think because Bowen was over on the right-hand side a lot, teaming up with Kudus, I think it isolated Somerville, who was looking reasonably bright. Just a difficult role for him. Anyway, sorry for being grumpy after a win. I don't feel grumpy. I feel relieved because we've got the 3 points on the board. Because, like I said, I don't want to be dragged into a relegation battle. And I don't think we will be. And I think that's why Lopetegui will keep his job, because we'll just do enough to stay 6-7 points away from the bottom three. Because the bottom three, let's face it, they're pretty stinky. Southampton, it's brand Russell Martin. It just reminds me so much of Vincent Kompany and Burnley. However, that's down to Jason Wilcox more than anything else. But they're stinky. Ipswich, I've got a lot of grit about them, but I don't know if they're going to be good enough. Last year I got something about them, but there's a few. Wolves just look dreadful at the moment. Everton aren't. I know they've beat Wolves, but we've just seen Wolves. They're no great shakes themselves. So I think we'll always be far enough away from a relegation battle that we're never really in one. Saying that could change with defeats to Bournemouth and Brighton, couldn't it? I'm looking over my shoulder more than I'm looking up. Even though we're closer to European spots than we are the relegation zone right now in terms of points, I ain't looking up. I'm looking over our shoulder at who's creeping up on us. But it's not a good situation to be in. And to coin one of my favourite phrases, we've just kicked the can down the road, because this situation we were in, we will be in again. We'll get beat by Bournemouth, beat by Brighton. You'll have another cup final. El Sacchio the third as we take on Southampton with Russell Martin, and we'll beat them. And then we'll get smashed by Liverpool, and it just repeat. And before you know it, it's the end of the season. We can all see it a million miles away. And I think that's what's really getting me down at the moment. I feel like we're just in this corridor of nothing, and I don't like it. As a football fan, you should be allowed hope. You should be allowed to dream. FA Cup's a handful of weeks away. Don't know how many weeks, because I don't know the date. But it's about a month away, the FA Cup. And I know it's a tough job, but I could make reasons as to why Villa might not take that serious. But the problem is I'm already not bothered by it, and I hate this feeling. I really hate it. I'll tell you what, I want two things. I want two outs. I want this baby out, and I still want Lopetegui out.